Missions Pulse. Know God's heart, join his mission.
It might be helpful to let everyone know that not every child who's in an orphanage or an institutional location is actually an orphan. Would you agree with that or not?
The statistics show us that the average across the globe is 80% of children who are currently in institutions have at least one living parent.
Really?
Yes.
Okay, now, what does that mean? It's kind of startling. The statistics are startling.
That's right.
And so, wait, why are they in an orphanage if they're not orphans then?
There are a range of different reasons, but the primary drivers, we call them, what is creating this separation event in a child's life, where a child's being placed in an orphanage or some kind of residential care, it is typically issues related to poverty.
I see. Okay.
Education is another one. So children from rural communities where education, particularly secondary education, may not be accessible or where the quality of education might be poor. Parents may use institutions that are in urban centres as a mechanism by which they can get their child access to better education.
Okay. I could see how that might work. I'm not going to throw out a name of a country or a location because there are a plethora of
That's
them,
right.
but I could see you're in a rural area, the urban center where the children's home, the orphanage, etc., may be probably can. So you've mentioned a second ago that mission trips, volunteerism, kind of play into perpetuating this regime. You called it, strong word. I called it a beast. I guess that's, I don't know which one's stronger. Who's at fault here? When in doubt, blame the host.
That's
so I'll
it.
take that one. But so mission trips, volunteerism, these seem like pretty good things on the surface.
Yes.
I mean, we host mission trips at Within Reach Global, our ministry.
Yes.
We personally don't go to different orphanages, but I think many would say, let's do this. Ministry outreach, college campus, we'll go to an orphanage this day, ride an elephant the other day.
That's right.
So it's this kind of like adventure you're
Yes.
calling people to. You're saying that's hurting
Yes.
the children?
And the reason why is just like we talk about drivers from a family's perspective, what leads children to be separated from the family's perspective, the other set of drivers are outside of the family and community.
Okay.
And they are the source of funding and the source of resource that is being poured into institutions. And so orphanage volunteering or missions trips that visit orphanages, what we've noticed and what the evidence is showing us is it's actually creating a demand for children to be in orphanages.
I see.
And oftentimes the number of children who legitimately require residential care is not actually meeting the demand of missions organisations or churches who want to send volunteers to support orphans and visit them and spend time with them. And
So you're saying there's churches who want to send more, but there's not enough resource or children in that position to visit.
And so in the middle, we've got organizations and we've got individuals who are noticing that there is a demand for this. There is a foreign demand for visiting orphanages, and that's incentivizing the separation of children from their families in order to be in the orphanages, to be visited and to be supported by foreign missions groups and tourists and volunteers coming from secular volunteering agencies.
If I didn't hear the first part of your whole statement just now, I came in halfway through. It almost sounds ugly enough to describe as trafficking. Had I come in the second part that there's this demand and foreign tourists and overseas visits, is it that ugly? You're saying, what is the remedy then?
Yeah, well, there absolutely is a phenomena called orphanage trafficking taking place in the world today.
Wow.
It's been documented, it's been evidenced, and in fact, in a number of countries, there have already been prosecutions for orphanage trafficking.
Okay. I've never even heard that term personally.
Yes. And so it is now being recognized as a form of trafficking and as a form of modern slavery by a number of governments in their legislation that looks at modern slavery issues. And orphanage trafficking, like all forms of trafficking, is an issue of supply and demand and an issue of commodification. Now, it is not the missions agencies, it is not the volunteers who are trafficking children.
Okay, thank you for making that clear.
There are people who sit in the middle who notice that there's a demand over here, and that demand isn't a demand, it's an interest, it's a heart, it's a good intention. But the good intention is being commodified just as the children are being commodified. And you've got people sitting in the middle who are profiting from that. They're profiting from that by encouraging or in some cases coercing families to give up their children in order to bring them into these institutions, when they can then accept volunteers and accept child sponsorship money or donations, and it becomes a market.
I hear the good intention. I've heard that good intentions pave the road to hell. Okay, so I'm not necessarily saying a good intention is the best thing ever.
Yeah.
But I can see, let's say, the missionary community, for example, or those who go on mission trips. To me, particularly, a strong drive in belief, a belief in God, a belief in the better thing that we want to present, drives is the underlying motivations of many of these people. So good intentioned or not, I guess all that you're saying is very personal to me right now. Yesterday, I was with my daughter and wife at an orphanage. We just received the call that you can come pick up your daughter. We've been on a journey of adoption for 2 years now. And so I'm there and I see her. She's my daughter, but she's also surrounded by 200 other children.
Yeah.
And I wrestle with this thought, like, why her? Why not all of them? Will their parents come?
Yes.
Are their parents alive?
Yes.
I know my daughter's mother is alive right now.
Yes.
I know this.
Yes.
I'm wrestling with all these things that you're sharing with me, and it makes me wonder, how do you fix this issue?
Yeah, and the way we fix this issue is by actually reforming the whole system. The danger is that we look at it from a programs level and we say, okay, we need more adoption, we need more foster care, we need more kinship care, we need more of this service or that service. The reality is we need all of those things, but we need them all to be functioning as a cohesive system. So what we need to be doing is developing and strengthening child protection and care systems in each country. And if we do that, what we make available to every child and family is a range of services that can then be best suited to their specific needs. So if you come in contact with a family whose primary issue is poverty, rather than saying the only solution we have is to take your child into an orphanage, we can say, well, actually, we can link you up with economic strengthening initiatives. We can get you connected to the social protection, which might give you access to housing, to cash transfers, to other types of support, where
while
we find
while
the child stays with you, so you can fulfill your caregiving responsibilities, and it doesn't force a separation in order to access services. We might meet a child who does come from a situation of risk, where there's abuse taking place, and that child may need to leave that family for their own safety, but that child can then potentially access foster care and still be raised in a family rather than being taken to an institution where, yes, the child might be safer, they may get access to some services, but it may come at the expense of developmental delays and a lack of life skills and a lack of other types of skills that child's going to need to thrive and function in their adulthood.
Missions Pulse. Know God's heart, join His mission. This podcast is powered by Within Reach Global. Subscribe, watch, and listen on YouTube today. Visit missionspulse.com.
Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed that video, leave a comment below. Tell me what you thought. Also, you might want to check out this video here, and honestly, that one's not bad either. Make sure you subscribe to Missions Pulse by clicking the subscribe button right here, and also click that little bell button so you get notified every single time we post a new video.